This session is for OCR FP2. The topic is Maclaurin series and we're looking at question 2 from January 2010. So in the question it says that we're given a function f of x as the inverse tan of 1 plus x. We're asked in part 1 to find f of 0 and the value of the first derivative when x equals 0, and to show that the second derivative when x equals 0 is equal to negative a half. And then in part 2 it says, hence find the Maclaurin series for f of x up to and including the term in x squared. So part 1, first of all, if we do that over here. So in part 1 we know that f of x is tan to the minus 1 of 1 plus x. So it says find f of 0, so we can substitute in x equals 0 and we get tan to the minus 1 of 1. So that means that that's the angle whose tan is 1 is pi over 4. So we've got the first bit. Now we need to find the derivative of f of x. So remember, you can look up the derivative of tan to the minus 1 of x, which in your formula books, which is 1 over 1 plus x squared. So what we need here is 1 over 1 plus x all squared. So we're just replacing x by 1 plus x. So that is going to be 1 over 2 plus 2x plus x squared. And again, we're asked to find f dash of 0, so if we substitute in x equals 0 there, then we're going to get a half. And we'll now need to find the second derivative. Now you could actually do this either using the chain rule and write that as 2 plus 2x plus x squared to the minus 1, or you can use the quotient rule, but whatever way you do it, we should end up with, we'll have a 2 plus 2x plus x squared all squared on the bottom line. The derivative of 1 is 0, of course, so that's going to disappear, and then it'll just be minus 1 lot of the derivative of the denominator, which is 2 plus 2x. Yeah. So we have the second derivative, and again we need to evaluate that when x equals 0. So we end up with a minus 2 on the top line, and we end up with a 2 squared on the bottom line, so minus 2 over 4, which is negative a half. So we have now completed part 1, and if we have a look at part 2, then we're asked to find the Maclaurin series. So remember again, you can go to your formula books if you're not sure, but Maclaurin says that f of x is equal to f of 0 plus x times the first derivative of f when x equals 0 plus x squared times the second derivative of f when x equals 0 over factorial 2, and so on. But we're only asked to find up to the term in x squared. So f of 0 we've worked out is pi over 4, x times f dash of 0, so that's going to be a half of x. And then the third term, well, we're going to have minus a half divided by 2, which is minus a quarter x squared, so minus a quarter x squared is our third term. And there will obviously be other terms, but we haven't been asked for any more than the first 3. So if we just check on the marks for that, so there were 4 marks for the first part, so you got a method mark for differentiating the inverse tan here. You got another method mark for finding the second derivative, an accuracy mark for getting these two here, and then an accuracy mark for showing that the second derivative when x equals 0 was negative a half. So there were 4 marks for that part, and then there was a method mark and an accuracy mark for putting these values and using Maclaurin's series correctly. So 6 marks in total. So don't forget, if you want to access further revision videos, then you can do that by going to the Further Maths Support Programme website and following the link.